gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is I, your longest reigning female Ramble Mania champion of the world, your girlfriend's favorite champion, Katie Kaboom. And I am here with my awesome and super awesome duper worthy adversary over here, the one, the only, the 10-time, right?
10 of them things. 10.
Ramblemania, former Ramblemania World Heavyweight Champion, even though he not gonna win that sim, and I'm still prevail. TJ the Great. TJ the Great one.
That's right. That is right. I'm gonna win that.
I felt so incomplete the last time we recorded, and I didn't get to do that. I was so mad. I was like, why didn't I do it?
Right, because I hadn't even watched. I was tired.
It was one of those days, bro. Yeah, yesterday was one of those days. I was supposed to record the show with you yesterday.
Yep.
I'm still waiting for my bonus. That's all I gotta say.
Yes. Give Katie Kaboom her bonus. We not playing.
Hashtag roll me my bonus 2023.
Yeah. Roll her that. She need all that. Stop playing. You're not playing no games. She need all that.
It's been a while. I mean, it's only been a week.
Yeah, since the draft and everything going on. The last time I was fortunate enough to be here for a SmackDown episode.
You just admit that you are now part of every show on the Ramblemania Network.
Which is, Ramblemania show. That's my baby. That's all our baby. But I don't want to watch SmackDown, man. And every other week I gotta come back because the tribal chief, Jay Savage, is off being the damn head of the table here and there and everywhere but here. So I gotta step in.
Yeah, and 6 just works like a chicken with no head.
Yeah, 6 is too busy to do it. Everybody else too busy to do it. I'm the only one that's available.
We fucking love you.
The love is appreciated, but
listen, man, I invited you to my barbecue for my birthday so we could eat because I owe you food anyways.
True. So yeah, I got to collect on that.
Yeah. So we were rambling though, so to find out why y'all will not be watching United Champions.
Yes.
Mello.
Mello said, fuck that show. That's right, Mello. You don't fuck with the Saudi Arabia shows. The people of Saudi Arabia are fine.
I'm glad that he did that.
Mello said, that's right. Yeah, Mello.
That's racist. That's racist. Like, first of all, he's part... Like, he can't be racist to no one. He's part British and part Mexican. Yeah. And then you got a Puerto Rican dad and a Greek mom.
Yeah. But no, that's the thing. So yeah, it's not an issue with the people of Saudi Arabia. Like, it's like I said before, if WWE were to lease out the buildings in Saudi Arabia, like you do with any other arena where you try to book a show, you do business with the arena, book the building, sell tickets, do all that, then that would be fine. They literally work with the government to put on these shows. That's why, I don't know how they still do it now, but that's why I remember in the first one, I always talk about it. You saw all the rich dignitaries down in the front row, while like the regular people were up in the stands and shit.
But that's the same thing if you get a VIP section, isn't it? The ones with the money that's willing to dish it.
Yeah, like the premiere of SmackDown on Fox, there was a bunch of like Fox executives in the front row, like VIPs, people who paid the money for the show. But in this instance, it's literally members of the government and members of the higher ups in the Saudi hierarchy that are in this crowd, because this is a government business decision. This is what is called sports washing, where a country or a regime, they use sports or entertainment to muddy the waters and try to divert your attention away from the horrible things that are going on within the country. So like, don't worry about the fact that we stone people to death for being gay. Don't worry about the fact that women are only just now getting rights in the country. Don't worry about the fact that we beheaded a journalist. We got UFC coming over here. We got WWE coming over here. We got this sport. We got that sport. So that stuff is gross. I hate that shit. I can never support that shit. And I never will. And then for anybody that's going to be like, well, what about America? I don't watch Tribute to the Troops either. So next argument, please.
Tribute. I honestly I saw it once, and maybe because I've just been bored.
Yeah, I mean, Tribute to the Troops is whatever show because they just put it on in a base for soldiers. But again, like Google Lashley Massaro, Tribute to the Troops. That's all I'll say. And as far as that goes.
So if let's say they were to do it in Cuba, you would have the same reaction?
Okay, let's say because Fidel's gone, but Fidel Castro era Cuba. If they went to Cuba and just did a show like Lease the Bill, like they just did in Puerto Rico, if they did it like that, then it'd be fine. But if they would have went and did business with Fidel Castro, had Fidel in the front row, Vince shaking his hand, and did a propaganda package for how great Cuba is despite all the horrible stuff that's going on there, then I would feel the same way and I wouldn't watch the show. I mean, I wouldn't watch American WWE if they did that, but they only really do that for Tribute to the Troops. And I don't watch WWE anyway. So, I mean, I am here watching WWE. I typically don't.
I feel like the way the government's even getting involved in gambling right now and putting all these laws, like the government's going to have their hand in everything soon. Watch. Then it's going to be performances. And
yeah, there always is that, you know, there's always a level of government oversight going on in big entertainment events because of the money and the power that goes into all of that. But I don't know, man. I don't like the idea of sports washing. Like, it's one thing if the government is stepping in to regulate or do whatever, but I don't like the idea of sports washing.
Do you feel like the Saudi government is choosing the winners for this?
I don't think they care. Like, last I heard, what was the Prince? Like, the Prince was asking for, well, this was like years ago when they first started doing them, but the Prince was asking for like Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna and shit. Like, I think like the Prince was like an old school WWF fan. So he was just like, hey, can you get this guy or that guy? And I think that's what they care about. Bring us good wrestling. We just want exciting shows. So I don't think they're particularly, care about who wins.
So I have 3 articles. I got Pat McAfee getting a big ESPN deal. I have the people trying to be hesitant about putting the title on my man Seth Rollins, who was in Captain America BT Dub.
Yes.
And then we got the Judgment Day. So I'm gonna let you pick since I have to force you here every week.
What is going on with the Judgment Day? The Ballers. What's going on with the Ballers?
So the Ballers are apparently getting another member. WWE is making plans to introduce a new member of the Judgment Day.
Oh, is it gonna be JD? Don't Google me. JD, don't Google me.
The Judgment Day kicked off Raw yesterday with a segment featuring Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which will lead to a match later on the show, according to insider at Boozer Radlin. Following the next segment, WWE intends to show a video pack for JD McDonough, a former NXT star who appears to be highly regarded by management. This will be the first hint that he's joining the faction. He's scheduled to compete in the Battle Royal, which will determine who's the next challenger for the title, which obviously we know that's not him.
Yeah. I can't wait till they start doing twin magic spots with Finn Balor and JD McDonough.
Listen, man, maybe they'll make it interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, even apart from the fact that they look alike, Finn trained them. So.
Finn 1.0 and Finn 2.0.
Yes.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
It's super sense. Do we want Seth or we want Pat?
Let's talk about Pat, another person that's gonna end up being too good to stay in WWE.
So the Pat McAfee Show podcast moves to ESPN as McAfee announces a big money ESPN deal. On earlier today, according to PW Mania, the former WWE color commentator announced a new big money deal with ESPN. McAfee will continue his analyst role on ESPN College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, and hosting alternate presentations of college football telecasts. It will air live. The Pat McAfee show will air live weekdays on ESPN, the ESPN YouTube channel, the ESPN app, and ESPN Plus. McAfee has become one of the most successful voices in media. He's expanding his multi-platform ESPN role as part of a new multi-year agreement officially announced by the Walt Disney Company's advertising sales upfront presentation in New York. The show, a highly successful and innovative weekday sports talk and discussion program, will move this fall. In addition to hosting the show, he'll contribute on the digital and social media platforms. He'll continue doing his college football analysis, and he will host his telecast. They will continue in the meantime to deliver their content, and they will wait till the fall, to the late summer to talk about when in the fall it's gonna air.
The only reason I'm not gonna say he's never coming back is because the only reason he never needed to be here in the first place. The only reason he was ever even here in the first place is because he wanted to be, because he loves pro wrestling and WWE. So,
but that's the same thing with Bunny. Like, there's a whole bunch of people that literally go there now just because they love it. They don't need the money.
Yeah. So, like, that's why I'm not gonna say he ain't never showing up again. But like, with all this on his plate, I definitely wouldn't expect to see him for a while in WWE. Like, I'm sure he'll try to make it when he can. But
they'll probably bring him for SummerSlam.
Yeah, but Pat is up right now. Like the article says, he's built a big brand with his pod and everything he's been doing since he retired from football. He's done great. Like, he's a great example of someone. And I always say this about NFL players: get your money and get the fuck out, and work on something that can set you up for life after football. Because out of all the major sports, football is the one that, outside of combat sports, obviously, but football is the one that, especially in North America, tends to be the most dangerous with the least amount of payout because of the way their contracts are structured versus basketball and baseball and football and everything. So, so many of these guys end up with like CTE or other sorts of injuries in their early 30s, if not late 20s, and end up fucked up. So I like that a lot more of this generation of guys like Pat and so many of those other guys are getting out as early as they can and making money and investing it in the proper things and building empires after the game. So respect.
So how do you feel about the football players that go WWE routes?
I mean, I think that's smart, because not that, you get hurt in WWE too, but with that, you get that stability, you get that financial stability of being able to work well in comparison to the NFL. Actually, no, because WWE pay as shit in comparison. But if you end up as a really good pro wrestler and you end up being able to make it far in the business, the benefits of that will outweigh the negatives that come with it, and you can do it for longer. Like, you can only be a NFL level football player for so long, but you can be a top level pro wrestler for as long as your body can, even sort of go.
I mean, look at Roman. Yeah. Roman was originally not a pro football player, but he played.
Yeah. A lot of athletes take that path, and especially for like guys who are in college or whatever that aren't necessarily going to have long NFL careers. Like, if you're someone that, if you're really fucking good and you're going to be a star in the NFL, then go play in the NFL, make your money. But if you're someone who's like going to be a fringe guy that, might get cut in red shirts or whatever, then yeah, the better decision might be to go take your athletic ability and take it to somewhere where you can get a little farther.
What has been your favorite sports cameo on the E?
My favorite sports cameo?
Because Baron Corbin is still trash.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about like general sports guy to go to wrestling,
like, listen, we've had a lot of sports people come to wrestling. Raleigh's not there anymore. Corbin's crap. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Gable Stevenson in general.
I mean, if we're just talking pure athlete that like from another sport that just jumped to wrestling, D'Angelo Williams when he was in TNA, he only had 2 matches, but he was incredibly good. Like, the way that Logan Paul looks now in the ring, like a natural and all that shit, he looked like that, but even better, low key. Like D'Angelo Williams was extremely good in his couple of pro wrestling matches. So I'll say him.
Okay. I'm still getting used to watching all these sports people. I'm not gonna lie, when Gronk went there, I was laughing. Like I found that extremely comical.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was gonna last a little while longer though.
Yeah. I always thought Gronk might have been able to make that work because Gronk is this crazy, charismatic kind of guy, so he would fit in that, and that cartoony guy at that. So he would kind of fit in that WWE realm. But yeah, he didn't do as much as I would have thought.
Because he followed Brady to Florida, that freaking pansy.
Yeah.
That's for Brady to retire.
Right. Well, they did get another ring out of it.
Yo, Seth is gonna be on Captain America.
He is. I saw that picture. He's gonna be in the Serpent Society.
If he was gonna go the John Cena route, I wouldn't be mad with that.
Yeah, I think nowadays, especially because of how WWE media trains so many of their stars, that a lot of them are going to try to make that transition to acting and things like that. And like we've seen Cena and Batista, like there was never a really successful, I mean, they're like little bit here and there, but like once Rock really blew up and then Cena and Batista came after, it seems like the floodgates are kind of opening a little bit for pro wrestlers. So I guess we'll see who the next one isn't going to end up being. A lot of people seem to think it's going to be Roman. A lot of people seem to think it's going to be Seth, but it's harder than you think to make it in Hollywood. Like even Batista, I feel like people don't really realize how lucky it was that Batista got that Guardians role and then got the kind of maneuver after that.
Yeah, I feel like had he not got the Guardians role, he wouldn't have really had a shot in Hollywood.
Yeah, because like obviously now people see he's a good actor, so he can get roles in different types of things. But like
he
that
needed
Guardians
that one role.
Yeah, the Guardians really broke him out, and it broke most of them out really as a breakout Marvel movie. So yeah, it's a matter of casting. It's a matter of right place, right time. It's a lot of factors that come together to making it in Hollywood.
But yeah, no. But now they're kind of like hesitant on giving him the title at the Saudi show because he's got this role now.
They're so weird about. So my guess then, if this is a story, is that he didn't get this through them. He got this on his own. Because usually when someone in WWE gets an outside thing on their own and not through the company acts shady towards them. Like Batista for years. Batista, like Guardians, he didn't get the Guardians role off the strength of WWE. He got it because James Gunn liked him. And so WWE for years, I believe they even told him, who even knows if that movie's going to do well. And granted, no one knew how well Guardians was going to do, but it's a fucking Marvel movie. Like it was going to do well at the very least.
Yeah, because DC movies are the one that sucks.
Yeah, and even at the time, the DC movies were doing well. Like superhero movies were super hot at that time. So like, of course it was going to do well. And then it did well. And then, it got even bigger and bigger. And they were still like virtually ignoring the fact that Batista was in these movies. Like I remember WrestleMania was coming up, the year Infinity War came out, and they never mentioned it. I'm like, this is about to be the biggest movie in history. And y'all are not mentioning that Batista is, what are you doing? Why? They are haters. They are haters, low key.
And they do got poor marketing. Look how much they promote the actual stuff. They promote literally the 2 weeks leading up to each pay-per-view.
Yeah. But again, like when Roman was in that Fast and Furious movie, or I think it was Hobbs and Shaw, whatever one it was, when he was
it was
the cameo. Yeah. And that was a cameo.
But they are going to promote that because the Rock was in it.
Yeah, but they promoted the fuck out of it because it was through them. But Batista is a core character in one of the biggest movie franchises in the world, the biggest movie franchise in the world, and they don't want to promote it. So yeah, I feel like if they're feeling frosty towards Seth over this, then he didn't get the role through them.
I mean, I'm kind of glad we're not basing the championship on Night of Champions. Because I have a feeling because I would totally vote for Seth. But I have a feeling I might lose.
Oh yeah. If we were doing predictions for that, it'd be a tricky one.
It'd be a hard one though. Because I want both of them to win.
Yeah,
They're both a good title run.
Yeah, they're both solid options. I honestly, by the end of this show, I was like, just give it to AJ. It's crazy. I never get to see AJ wrestle anymore like that, and seeing him wrestling, I was like, man, he really one of the greatest of all time. Give him the belt. Even now, we're like he's older and slower and shit, but he's still really good.
But he even said after this contract run, no more for him. So it's gonna suck when he retires.
Yeah, he's almost done. That's partially why I was feeling sentimental. Like he's almost done too. Yeah, let him get one more. Yeah, with that, is it time to get to it?
In the name of Bob Marley, the Ramble Mania gods, and our good friends at Welcome to the Raw Zone, and of course Mello, who I just realized walked in through a whole conversation and plopped himself down to sleep. I now declare this to Rumble in the Ramble Zone. Tell us about them numbers. Probably shitty, but tell us about them.
The SmackDown numbers? Actually, the SmackDown numbers are probably pretty good. So this past Friday's episode of SmackDown, 2.1 million viewers on Fox, up 4% from the previous week. Still the second lowest audience total in 2023 for the show. But they did lead all of network television in 18 to 49 with a 5.6. But overall trailed NBA programming. So again, like we talk about with the AEW rating, same situation here. If the only thing that's beating you in the ratings is the NBA, then you're doing well. So
okay. So what happens when it's in the rare form of football, NBA, and WWE?
Yeah, see, when football shows up, that's when they particularly get their asses kicked, even though the ratings sort of bottomed out in recent years, so not as much anymore. But yeah, when you got like around October, where you get that equinox of sports, where it's baseball playoffs, where it's basketball preseason, and it's NFL in full swing happening all at the same time, that's when your ratings go really down if you're anything other than one of those three things, especially if they're happening at the same time.
The WWE then now forever opening bullshit signature airs, and we get the show off and running, and we agreed live inside the arena where Michael Cole and Wade Barrett welcome us to the show. Thanks, guys. We appreciate the welcomes. Don't be rude. We fucks with you.
We are in Knoxville, Tennessee.
We in the Tennessee because they're the only Tens we see. Nah.
Yeah.
But we kick off with the Rated R superstar Edge as his theme starts and everyone gives him a huge pop. He heads down the ring to get the show started. He kisses the children at the front of the row as he heads to the ring. Then Ray comes with AJ already waiting for him. The bell sounds that we're off and running. Mysterio and Styles both go after Edge early on, and after beating him down in the corner, the two begin focusing on each other. Edge recovers, and all three start fucking each other up. Edge hits Styles with a big boot to the grill, and then puts the boots on him for the mat to the corner. Ray and Edge start mixing it up with a different corner of the ring as the fans chant, "Let's go Edge." We see him hit an Edge-matic for a close near fall on Styles. Styles kicks out, and the action continues. Moments later, Edge is taken out on the floor, and Styles hits a baseball slide drop kick through the ropes as Edge was going for the DDT off the apron to Mysterio on the floor. With Edge and Ray laid out and AJ in the offensive driver's seat, we head to a mid-match commercial as the action continues. Fuck the mid-match commercial. Horrible time.
It is what it is. Used to it at this point.
When we come back from the break, we see Edge fucking everyone up, and Ray fires up for a big comeback. He gets Edge's down in position for a 619, but it didn't slap. Edge starts to fire back up now as he lays out Styles as Ray is recovering. When we come back from another fucking break, we see Edge dominating the off. Sorry, I read that again. Edge goes off the top of the top rope, but Ray stops him. Ray climbs up after him, but then Styles scoops him from underneath and hits a sit-out powerbomb into a pin attempt. Mysterio kicks out after a counter, too. The three stack up the top rope again, and we see Hurricanrana into the superplex for a close near fall. However, Styles kicks out for the follow-up pin attempt for Ray. Ray then drop kicks Edge into position for a 619, but Styles yanks him from the floor. Styles loads up for a phenomenal forearm, but Edge moves and looks for a spear. Styles avoids it, and Edge gets lined up for a 619. Edge avoids it and counters Ray into an educated submission. Styles recovers, so Edge lets go and locks him in. Adrian makes it to the rope, but that means nothing in a triple threat match. Ray ends up hitting the 619 and is taken out by Styles. Styles follows up with a phenomenal forearm on Edge for the pinfall victory. With the win, Styles advances in the attorney.
Yeah, I thought this match was pretty fun, actually. You know, these are three all-time greats, so you know they know how to work. AJ Styles, you know, he's had some of the best triple threat matches ever, so he knows how to do these. And this was, you know, again, I always say about triple threats like this in WWE, it's unique in that all three guys mostly stayed involved for the duration of the match. No one was like asleep for too long.
And you know, you see, like, and it brings you a little bit of the nostalgia factor having Eddie at Edge, and I was thinking about Eddie Guerrero. Sorry, having Edge and Ray in a match. You know, obviously they can't get a whole just having those two and throwing that element that is AJ Styles, who is from a newer generation, who looked up to these guys. You know, like fucking them up.
Yeah,
like, I fuck my favorite wrestlers.
I mean, low-key AJ is low-key AJ is sort of from their generation too, because he's been wrestling for almost as long as either of them. But
I mean, yeah, we're talking about 20, 30 years. Man. But I feel like because he started his career watching them.
Yeah. Ray in particular, because yeah, he is that guy.
It's still a level of respect right there. That's like saying us who we do sports broadcasting, we do podcasts, right? But then we're in the table with fucking Pat McAfee, for an example.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
How do you like the tournament aspect in general?
So I think that the concept of a tournament featuring SmackDown guys wrestling for a Raw exclusive title immediately following a draft is silly as fuck. I think that's ridiculous. Like, I think the tournament would have worked fine if it was just like a bunch of Raw guys, but like, what are SmackDown guys doing in this? Like, if let's say AJ wins, he goes to Raw because he's the Raw champion now, and SmackDown has wasted a pick in the draft. So
but that's the only reason why I don't think it's AJ that's gonna win.
Yeah, but again, like if I'm the SmackDown brass or what the fuck ever in kayfabe, why would I even allow this? Like, no, we have a title. Our guys can try to fight Roman.
We get an extensive video package showing the 6-man tag team at the co-main event at WWE Backlash, specifically the issues between Solo and the Usos, particularly his issues with Jay. From there, we shoot backstage where we see the Usos are stretching to appear in a good mood. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett then remind us that for the first time since Mania, the Tribal Chief is here tonight. Are you feeling Uzi?
They stopped saying that. They don't say that anymore. At least not that I saw on the show.
I mean, yeah, thank God the commentators don't say it, the fans do. Are you feeling Uzi today?
I suppose. Whatever. Sure.
Oh, shit, Kevin. Uzi.
Sure.
Metal's looking at me with a side eye like, what the fuck, mom?
Why is Michael Cole out here? He repeated this line like 3-4 times. Like, Roman Reigns is here tonight. Is he here to give the Bloodline a pep talk? What the fuck does that mean, man? What are you talking about? a pep talk.
He telling them what's good and what's good in the island of relevancy.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, don't you want to be part of the island of relevancy?
I mean, it seemed like a pretty small island, and it seemed like you got to do a lot to get on there. So I'm good where I'm at.
Listen, man, if you want to get off island, it only took a cheeseburger to save someone's life.
Yeah. Well, shout out Sonata. Whenever I see the Five Guys, I gotta consume the Five Guys burgers and fries. We don't play those games. We don't give up burgers. That's not what Sonata taught us to do.
We got another opening round of people that shouldn't be in this tournament. We have Sheamus versus Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory. It's fight night in Knoxville, Tennessee, guys. Fight night. And the WWE veteran settled into the ring for the next round of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. We had to do a pre-match commercial break, which why the fuck we had to do that? When we come back from the pre-match break, we hear familiar sounds of the entrance theme music for the WWE Champion and United States Champion, and out comes Austin Theory. Already in the ring is Bobby Lashley as well as Sheamus, who made their way out during the break. As usual, Theory pussied out after the bell rang and thought he was being smart until Lashley and Sheamus both follow him out there and proceed to give him the biggest beat down and stomp the fuck out of him so he could realize who the fuck he's dealing with. Because I think he needed that. Just because Daddy came back for a couple of weeks, man, he thought he could act like a fucking brat. That's what it was, Tevin. Fuck off, he's Austin Theory.
You know what's crazy? This match, the last match was these were two different triple threat matches. Like the last match, I said, they were moving around a lot. All three guys were involved. This one was more traditional than that. One guy would kind of go to sleep while the other two fought, which means this one should have been easier to follow on the cameras. But this match had way more camera cuts for some reason. All that crazy 3-man spots they were doing in the first match, but the camera was mostly solid. And then they started doing a bunch of camera cuts in this. I was like, why? What are you doing?
I got so dizzy for that. I was like, what the fuck? Fuck it. This is why I couldn't watch it like that.
Yeah.
That makes you nauseating. I don't have epilepsy, bro.
Every time it happens, I lose the match and I stop caring. And I'm like, oh, whatever, man.
Like, let me fucking watch the match.
Yeah.
Sheamus hoists this fucking bitch ass up into a rolling senton. Lashley clotheslines Theory out to the floor. Lashley turns his attention to Sheamus, and now the Almighty and the Celtic Warrior begin fucking each other up. We see Sheamus beat Lashley down, and he gets Theory in position for his 10 beats over the Bowery spot. He connects with each one of the fans count along with each shot that lands. Afterwards, we have another fucking break. As we settle back from the stupid break, we see Lashley slamming Theory into the steel. It's not wrong. Hit me with the sky hole. That's wild. As Sheamus recovers in the ring, Lashley re-enters the ring, and he and Sheamus begin brawling again. Lashley catches Sheamus off the top ropes and looks for the hurt lock, but Theory re-enters and drop kicks the two to break it up. Theory covers Sheamus, but Lashley breaks it up and then starts shooting it with Theory. Theory catches Lashley with a big boot running into the corner and then a modified sling blade for a close near fall. Theory then turns his attention to the Celtic Warrior, choking him with his boot in the corner of the ring, fan his boo his fucking ass. Sheamus hits an Irish curse backbreaker, and then connects with the white noise for a close near fall. Lashley is driven into the steel steps at ringside to leave Sheamus and Theory alone in the ring. It looks broke, but walks into a fear from Lashley. Theory goes for an 8-count down, but walks into the hurt lock from Lashley. Sheamus hits the bro kick, but Lashley knocks him out of the ring and takes the pin over Theory. At some point, Lashley got badly busted open and covered in blood all over his face after the win. With the win, he advances in the tournament and meets AJ Styles in the semifinals in tonight's main event. We see a shot of Roman Reigns in the locker room and catch another fucking bitch-ass break. And your winner and advancing in the tournament, Bobby Lashley.
Lashley, which means the main event is he versus AJ Styles. TNA, TNA, TNA.
Hey.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's the
WWE,
only
they know who they are. They a bunch of TNA marks over there in WWE.
How about you get into
Oh, this Adam Pearce thing.
yes.
Yeah,
'Cause
Adam Pearce.
I hated this, bro. Like 3 like very short segments back to back to back to back.
Yeah, this is where the pacing is all whatever. But yeah, Adam Pearce is in the back and he's very happy about the AJ versus Lashley main event because he says, they're 2 former world champions going to Night of Champions. Isn't that great? And it made me think, isn't Theory the only guy involved in this that isn't a former world champion? And, he's just trying to skim over the fact that they're doing a TNA main event with AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley. That's what he's doing. But then Grayson Waller walks in and he says, I'm glad I was drafted. You drafted me a little late, but you can make that up to me by giving me the winner of tonight's main event on my show, The Grayson Waller Effect, next week. So Adam Pearce is like, you know what? You got it. It's official. And then Wade Barrett is like, oh, I hate Grayson Waller. He was an asshole on NXT, which I do remember that. So,
I mean, it's good to have a couple of assholes on TV like that.
yeah.
They're not just like champions. Like you got the ones that are mid-level.
Yeah. I like that Wade Barrett with generally everybody that came up from NXT within the past 2 years or so when Wade Barrett was on commentary there. I like that Wade Barrett mentions their NXT history on the show because it provides continuity, which you like to see when they care to do it.
It's funny, right? Because I know when he first went into commentary, I don't know the people were jacking it.
The Wade
but
Barrett?
I feel like he's a good contribution to the commentary team.
Yeah, I like him. I like Wade Barrett. I liked him as a wrestler, as a promo, and I like him as a commentator.
I could go without Corey Graves for a little bit. I don't know why. He just annoyed the shit out of me lately.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely go without Corey Graves. I could just go without Corey Graves. I say that.
Tell us about Baron and Cameron.
Oh, boy. Cameron Grimes and Baron Corbin. My big homie Cameron Grimes. One of the last true GOATs on NXT before I quit it. One of the last guys I really loved on that show before I stopped watching. He comes out. He's got the newer version of his song that cuts out the bar about Mr. Regal, which is funny to me because William Regal works there again, so you can put that back. Like, there's just a bunch of dead air, like in before the hook, and it's like, first of all, why'd you cut out the whole line? Second of all, why are you still even using that version? William Regal is there again. You can use the old version, but nonetheless, Baron Corbin's got the mic. He says, Cameron Grimes, you were the last pick in the draft. You know what that means. You're Mr. Irrelevant, and you may be some hot NXT prospect, but I'm going to embarrass you in 2 minutes right here tonight. And then the bell rings, and Grimes gets the cave in and gets the win immediately. And he leaves. I was like, oh, excellent. Excellent booking, I must say. Excellent booking.
It was so short.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you wanna get over your call up guys, and like, because when I even watching Cameron Grimes come out here and Baron Corbin in the ring, I'm like, oh god, so he's gonna feud with Baron Corbin now, and he probably still will. But I'm like, oh man, he's gonna feud with Baron Corbin like everybody fucking does when they come up from NXT. But to just squash him and be like, I'm for real. Like, I think that's great. And the crowd was into him. They knew who he was. They were chanting to the moon and all that. So I think a good debut for Cameron Grimes.
I just think Baron Corbin needs to go somewhere.
I think Baron Corbin is a capable pro wrestler. I just think that there's been nothing but bad creative behind him for years. I think if there was solid creative behind him, he could do good things.
Like, I hate that they booked him so badly.
Right.
Like, the moment he lost his Money in the Bank cash in, I was like, yeah, you're not. They fucked you over. You're done.
Yeah. Even when he was bum-ass Corbin, I thought it was going to go somewhere interesting because it looked interesting for a minute, and then he just got rich. And, there you go.
Even though the rich thing was actually pretty funny.
I guess, but I mean, Cameron Grimes did the same thing on NXT. He got rich, and it was super entertaining. He even had a feud with Ted DiBiase. So I mean, was it fucking with that in any way?
I mean, maybe they're gonna have the battle of the two moneymakers,
right? Because I mean, I don't know if they're still doing the gimmick that Cameron Grimes is rich, but he still got the song and shit. So because in kayfabe, he literally got that paid to get that song made for him. Once he got all his money, like all the character stuff they did on Cameron Grimes and NXT was really fun. So I hope they do a lot of that stuff on the main roster.
I hope so too. Like I just love seeing that the NXT, like we see more of the actual physical side of us with the NXT kids coming up.
Yeah, and that's the other side of it because he's a great wrestler too. So like he can do character stuff and he can also have great matches. So he's a guy that I feel that they should be able to do something solid with. So hopefully they do.
Would you like to talk about Brock and Cody?
Bro, they did this Brock and Cody recap, and I'm sitting here like, Jesus Christ.
But what
like,
does it have to do with SmackDown? That's my thing.
That for one, and then for two is like, so fun fact. I watch these shows on 2x speed. I'll go on the site and I'll you can literally speed it up to watch it on 2x speed. Primarily because I want to save time because busy, but also partially because I want to get through the show as fast as I possibly can while still being able to take decent notes. And I usually get through a show in about like an hour, but it still always feels like I sat there for 2 full hours because there's so much of this on WWE shows. So much dead time of just random recaps and promos and bullshit. Like, get to it, man. The pacing on these shows are terrible. And even up to this point, I didn't even think the show was bad. I was enjoying the show for the most part up to this point. And then this happens and it lulls, and I'm like, can we move on, man? So,
and yeah. I was at a gig on Friday, so I saw this on Saturday. And I'm just like, if Tevin saw this on Friday, I'm pretty sure he feels like he wasted Friday.
Oh, my God, nah. If I were watching this live, I would not be as kind to the show as I'm being right now. If I saw this live. Because, again, I watched it on 2x speed with no commercials.
Oh, you have Hulu, no commercials?
No, just the version I watched cut out the commercials.
Tell us about your tribal chief.
The tribal chief has arrived. They're still calling him the undisputed universal champ, which is crazy because like the other belt is right there. The Raw title is right there. And then to make it worse, like they come out, they look at the other belt, and then Michael Cole is like, the Bloodline have called the World Championship a consolation prize. And it's like, why would you say that? Why would you have anyone say that, first of all?
But it is a fucking consolation prize.
No, it is. It absolutely is. But again, why would you say that if you're WWE? And why would you have the Bloodline of all people say that? Like, they're 1,000% right. And if you highlight it like that, while Roman literally walks to the ring with the real title in his hands, that makes it hilarious. Like, what the fuck are these guys all fighting for this thing for if it's a consolation prize? It's not the real fucking world title.
And that's bad, because that's what we didn't want, for the actual world heavyweight title to lose its value the way it did.
Yeah, but I mean, even inherently off the rip, that's my other problem with the title's existence. Like, this title was born essentially because nobody's going to beat Roman Reigns, all right? It's not going to happen, but you want to have a champion on the other show, so here, you have this other belt. But
they should have never split the titles.
Yeah, but even like back when Eric Bischoff, handed Triple H the original world title, the big gold, people have problems with that too because you're just handing a guy a belt. But even that works better than this because the reason he did it was because we don't have a champion. The champion's on SmackDown now, so Raw needs a world title. But it was a hard brand split. The brand split was fully 100% enforced. I forgot who the champion was at the time. I think it was Rock or Brock, one of them. But whoever was the champion, he was only going to appear on SmackDown, never on Raw. And he didn't. They never appeared on Raw. So there was a reason to have that world title out there. But now, like, y'all don't enforce the brand split like that. And even now with the draft and everybody talking about, well, now we got a draft and now everybody's been moved. Paul Heyman was just on Raw last night. Like, y'all do not care about this brand split, and y'all are not trying to prove that you care about this brand split. So having it be like this with the world championship being introduced, it don't work for me, bro. It don't work for me. It don't make sense. It's a consolation prize. It's a here nigga damn. It ain't a world title. I tell you that. The world title is what Roman has, and ain't nobody beat him for it. So our tribal chief is in the ring. He demands to be acknowledged. The crowd makes a bunch of noise.
What else is new?
Yeah. He says, there's a lot of talk about royal families, but there's really only one. Damn, Roman, why you ain't let me know we were still smoking that Cody pack? Light it, my tribal chief. We are still smoking on that Cody pack. Let's go. I love it. And then he says, they all main evented both nights of WrestleMania. All of us, the Usos night 1, I main evented night 2. And then even at Backlash, I wasn't even there, but somebody stepped up. And who was it? It was Solo. He says, we were concerned about you, Solo, when we brought you up, because, we're the best of all time out here, and these are deep waters. But Solo, he swim like a shark. But Solo's still looking upset. Like, Roman is putting his man over, and Solo's still mad. So Roman's like, yo, what's wrong with you, bro? And Solo says it's KO and Sammy. And then Roman is like, nah, listen. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they're not to be worried about. They're not the problem. They're not the problem at all. But there is a problem. And he looks over at the Usos. He's like, the problem is your brothers.
You say your fucking brothers.
Yep. He asked him, he's like, y'all thought we really weren't going to talk about y'all losing at WrestleMania? That was like a month ago. You haven't discussed this? But
I mean, but you, yeah.
Y'all haven't discussed this whole time?
I mean, they tried to move like it never happened. Like the Usos running around the way they were, it reminded me of the two kids that got in trouble with mommy and daddy. And they had to do everything to make it better before. It's like the adventure of Phineas and Ferb. They thought that their parents were not going to catch them.
Right. But then Candace, a.k.a. Paul Heyman, told on them. And
Yo!
And there you go.
But who's carrying the platypus? Solo?
I guess.
Wait, so if the Usos is Phineas and Ferb, Paul Heyman is Candace. Damn, that's bad.
Yeah, that is it is a tough situation. Wow. but Roman is mad at the Usos. He's like, man, y'all went out here and dedicated a tag team match to me. Why y'all dedicating tag team matches to me? I'm a singles wrestler. I'm the greatest singles champion of all time. We have Hall of Fame tag teams in our family. What are y'all doing? I do see his point. He's like, y'all misrepresented the family, all right? I demand an apology.
I believe it.
Yeah. So the crowd chant no. Jimmy's laughing. Jay is looking stressed. And then Roman steps up to Jimmy like, you think this is funny? I said I want an apology. I don't want to hear nothing out of your mouth other than I apologize or I'm sorry. Then he mushes Jimmy in the face. And then the crowd, I love Heyman in this moment because he starts slinking out of the ring like, oh my God, my tribal chief. And then the crowd just starts chanting, do something, do something. So then Jimmy steps forward, but then Jay steps in the middle of them. He grabs the mic. He's like, I'm sorry, all right? We sorry, Oos. We sorry. So then he's like, listen, you give us one more shot, and we'll get those titles back. We'll bring them back to the Bloodline. And then Roman's like, oh, no, the titles are going to come back to the Bloodline. Tell him what's up, wise man. Heyman gets the mic. He says some bullshit about the board of directors, like the Bloodline can't do what they want. And then says, at Night of Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will face Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. And then Roman...
Greedy as shit.
Bro. Then Roman says, I'm dedicating this to the greatest tag team of all time, Alpha and Sika, the Wild Samoans.
But that's good that they did.
Yeah. Which, again, drives the point home. Don't dedicate it to me. We got great tag teams in our family, the Wild Samoans. But yeah, very greedy. Roman about to get even more belts.
Why? Like, you dead don't need this many belts.
I guess the big thing out of this though is
I like the solo push, but they don't need titles.
But I guess the big thing out of this is Kev and Sami are going to Saudi Arabia then? Sami Zayn is going to Saudi Arabia. Okay.
Is he not allowed to?
He's never gone because he's Syrian.
He's what?
So he's Syrian. Sami's from Syria. Fucking Syria. Not Syria. Syria. Fucking Siri. But
really,
like every year, Sami has never gone to a Saudi show. Every year when they do the Saudi shows, Sami stays home and plugs his Sami for Syria stuff, where he basically raises, charity for Syria because Syria is going through a lot right now. And Saudi Arabia and Syria have been in conflict for quite some time. So the general thought has been it wouldn't even be safe for Sami to go to Saudi Arabia because he's Syrian. But recently, I guess, there has been, some sort of peace between Saudi Arabia and Syria. They're working on it, I guess. So I suppose it is okay for Sami to go over there now.
I mean, would it really be safe no matter what? Because even if there is a ceasefire, that type of beef is like the Greeks and the Cyprians or the Greeks and the Turks. Like, it can be reignited at any second.
Yeah, like I would not even play with country conflicts like that. Already knowing the type of situation, we all know the infamous trapped on a plane story from one of the Saudi shows. So I wouldn't risk it. But hey, they might know better than me. They probably do. So I guess if Kevin and Sami are going, they're going.
I feel like something's gonna happen before it, and it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, they might do something to just end up taking them out of the match or changing the match or something like that, and they don't go. But it's crazy. I thought this segment was pretty good. Like Roman, of course, is great at commanding the crowd, very good at like being demeaning, bearing down on people, and everybody plays their roles really good. Like Jimmy's all stressed, Jay's all stressed. Pardon, Jimmy's laughing, and then it turns
Jimmy
around with serious. Yeah, because Jimmy like, yeah, shit good, shit good. But Roman was like, nah, ain't shit sweet out here. Solo's pissed off. Heyman is. Hey, I do like how Heyman is always like terrified the angrier Roman gets.
I think Roman has softened him a little bit. I feel like he was more ruthless and aggressive when he was advocating for Brock.
Yeah. And I guess that's part of it. Like Paul Heyman was the advocate for years for Brock Lesnar, who was like the scariest fucking guy in the business. But Heyman was never scared of him. They were best friends, in fact. But with Roman, he seems afraid of him. I guess that's to put over that Roman is really a different level of monster. Maybe not physically, but mentally. Like the way he mentally breaks down everybody around him.
But your favorite part's coming up right now.
Oh. Kayla is in the back with damage control. Now we are cooking. Why did it take an hour? Why did it take an hour to get this woman on my TV? What are we doing? Here? But nonetheless, damage control is here. Bayley is here. That is what's most important. She says that she and Roman have a lot in common. So, we're both Grand Slam champions. We're exceptional leaders, even when things don't go as planned. And she looks at Io and she's like, you know what? But Io losing at Backlash, that's my fault. I blame myself for that because I pushed her too hard and maybe she just wasn't ready for that spot. But just like Roman, I'm going to take things into my own hands and I'm going to win back the tag titles myself. She tells Kayla to tell Roman that damage control is running SmackDown now. I'll tell Roman to his face right now. Square up if you need me to. I'll let him know. Damage control running this shit. But since Bayley mentioned it, I'm thinking now they literally just decided to have her and Dakota challenge for the titles with that very reasoning. Hey, what are we doing with the women's tag titles? I don't know. What's Roman doing? Wrestling for the tag titles. Okay, then Bayley's going to wrestle for the tag titles. Because it's literally the same thing. She's right. The leader of the faction is challenging for the tag titles.
But I think they'll get it, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, the match is next, so I guess we'll see.
So we come back from the break. You see Tevin drooling over Bailey and her fine self.
I never let y'all see, but it do be happening. When she came out to wrestle, I was like, listen, this is driving up the score curve. Like, this has been a good show. And you giving me a Bailey match now? This is what I'm talking about. It's not good enough for me to want to watch weekly, but you spitting WWE. You spitting. You are spitting right now.
I mean, I love her more like this now. It's giving her what people want to see from the women's division.
Yeah, she's a star. But then you know, they make me take all those compliments back because then they do a bunch of promos right in between entrances for a title match. I'm like, oh my god, I hate the pacing on these shows.
They did those promos about the tag team champions, Liv and Raquel. We come back, the Visionettes hyping everyone's success during Backlash, narrated by Wade. Shoot backstage to the Usos looking like pussies and sad because everyone's laughing at them. And then they just start talking shit with the LWO, and some shit's gonna pop off next week as usual.
Yeah, I couldn't have waited to do this.
Why did they do this while Bailey is wrestling? We don't like this.
Yeah, man.
We head back to the arena where Bailey and Dakota Kai are in the ring finally, and the bell sounds off. After we see the champs jump off to a solid offensive lead, we see Bailey using some cheap, underhanded tactics to shift the offensive momentum in their favor. We then shoot to another fucking mid-match commercial bitch-ass motherfucking break. And the action continues. When we settle back from that stupid-ass break, we see Bailey and Kai still dominate the action. However, when Bailey gets too focused on bossing Io Sky around, it backfires as the reigning champs pick up the pinfall victory to retain. There was not enough Bailey.
Just the Three Stooges, just a stooging on. I said that before. They booked Damage Control like the damn Three Stooges, and they're still doing it. Like,
ding dong.
I get it. Like the story is supposed to be that they're falling apart because, you know, Bailey's doing too much and the others, Io in particular, are starting to see through her. But like, I don't know. I guess that would be more impactful if they hadn't been losing in goofy ways for months. They've been losing like goofs for months. Even like I said before on Raw, I only watch the Bailey segments on Raw, and every time I watch them, Damage Control loses. It's crazy.
And then more promo bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So we shoot backstage, and Sheamus said that pretty much he don't fuck with the Pretty Deadly. Which one is pretty and which one is deadly? I'm gonna be real. He kind of got a point.
Which one is pretty and which one is deadly?
They don't make a good impression of the Celtic Warrior, and he heads off as Sheamus utters Pretty Deadly in disgust to wrap up the quick, stupid backstage segment as we head to another break.
My man Rich Holland was out here trying to get lit. He was like, let's go get those pints. That's all he cared about.
I go on pint. Let's go.
Let's go get a pint.
Come on, man. We settled back from the break. Once again, we're hearing about something that happened on Raw. We talk about the Bianca Belair celebration for the EST of WWE returning to Raw. She settled into the ring. Fireworks explode, and you see Asuka. Asuka walks up and fucking spits on her with the black mist of stickiness. She screams, and officials rush to her aid as we head to another commercial.
This was so crazy. Bianca literally just came out. She didn't get to cut a promo. She didn't even grab a microphone. Like, she was literally in the ring. She had just gotten in the ring, and then Asuka came out, and then the whole thing popped off. She offered the code of honor, and then Bianca took it, and then Asuka was like, "Psych, this ain't Ring of Honor, baby." And you know,
this is Asuka.
Unsurprisingly, hometown hero in WWE gets brutally destroyed and humiliated. But
I felt so bad when you see like her in the medics room. She livid, fucking falling out, screaming like she probably knocked someone in the face.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm gonna get my lick back," but you know, she's upset and very hurt at the same time. Like, it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. And
TNA,
I should have said it. Yeah, I
TNA,
should have said it like Jeremy Boras, because this is TNA shit right here. Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles wrestled twice on one show, and he got his entrance skipped both times. That is crazy. That is crazy.
Because he's a phenomenal one.
So we don't get to see the pyro and shit twice. He wrestled twice, and we didn't get to see it once. That's kind of wild. But yeah, TNA. Yeah, main event time. Want me to do it?
Yeah, I'm giving you TNA.
Yeah. This is TNA shit. This is real shit. So Lashley gets AJ down in the corner, gets him center ropes, but then just fucking beals him over the top rope. Lashley got cut earlier, and the cut is open again as we go to commercial break. We come back. AJ makes a comeback, rolls through on Lashley to get the calf crusher, but Lashley powers his way out of that. Then he goes for the Dominator, but AJ pops out, hits the sliding clothesline. Then he rushes over to the corner, but Bobby puts on the Hurt Lock. AJ slips through the ropes to break it. Lashley follows him outside, tries to post him one more time, but AJ ducks out and posts him instead. So then we go back in the ring. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Lashley catches him off the springboard. They trade reversals. AJ hits the ropes, but Lashley drops him with the big running power slam for a 2 count. So then he rushes him in the corner, but AJ dodges. He hits the apron, then hits the phenomenal forearm for the 1, 2, and 3. AJ wins. He advances to Blood Money. And I say, yeah, give AJ the consolation prize. One more late game run, 2014 Tim Duncan style. Let him have it.
And then if AJ gets it, we see another AJ versus Cena. Cena gets his 17th, and everyone can finally shut the fuck up about it.
And then Cena could lose it to Roman, and then Roman will have all the belts all over again. Yeah,
oh, God. Oh, that's such a toxic relationship.
I was even saying before, so SmackDown people can enter the tournament. What's stopping Roman? Hazel told me it's just because they literally said Roman cannot enter.
I mean, at least they said that. They put the Cody stipulation on him.
Yeah, they made sure to lock that one up. Roman can't enter. Because I would have been like, put Roman in this shit. Let him win.
Of course you would, just to cause the drama.
Of course. You know I'm all about the chaos.
He don't need no more titles. And God forbid, he gets the 2 tag titles, plus the World Heavyweight title.
And then they got to come up with new tag titles for Raw again.
They got to come up with new tag titles for everything.
Every time Roman, they split a Roman title, he just wins another one and fucks up the title hierarchy.
Like, no, you can't take my toy and think you're going to get away with it.
Yeah, I'm going to be the champion of everything, all right? I am the tribal chief. Acknowledge. Just acknowledge him, WWE. Acknowledge him.
And if you don't acknowledge it, fuck you.
But
that's SmackDown, man.
It is with SmackDown. I actually thought this was a good show. I always used to say that Triple H's signature move as a booker was the tournament, because he would always use a tournament whenever he needed a solid, focused booking reset, either on NXT or 205. Like, you watch those old episodes and you see that whenever Triple H was trying to like reset something and set things up at a base level, he would do a tournament. And this episode was a good example of what those used to look like. You know, it had its WWE main roster issues sprinkled throughout, but I saw the Triple H idealism in here. Good wrestling across the board, simple segments that advance stories. I didn't really have anything to complain about content-wise on the show.
I think the segment just bored me. I think that's what it was. It felt like it dragged for me.
Yeah. Like, you know, the damage control booking is silly, but I'm used to that at this point. And the only real surprising thing about hometown hero Bianca Belair getting misted is that she didn't even get to cut a promo. Asuka just came out like, nah, let's get this over with. You know what's going on. You already know what the fuck going on. But I mean, it was a good show. I generally did not have a problem watching it. It was, you know, pacing wise, that's the issue, but that's always going to be an issue with WWE. So the content was good.
That was it, man. That's what SmackDown on the SmackDown. We actually enjoyed it, except for the promos.
Yeah, solid. I even like some of the promos a little bit. A little bit.
But now we are on the road to All Out, Double or Nothing, whatever it is this time.
It's Double or Nothing.
And watch me still retain my fucking title.
I can't let it stand. AEW is where I live.
And again, you still lost it to me.
I did, but we will never let it happen again. Never again, say we on this AEW side. We're going to get it done.
But, well, this has been real. It's your homegirl, Ivy. You can follow us everywhere at Welcome to the Raw Zone, www.rawzonenyc.com. You can catch us on our website, our YouTube, Twitch, as well as our home of Elgin Sound Radio and Fuso 82.3 FM in Ohio. Tap in with us. We like talking shit. We do this weekly. We talk wrestling.
That's how we operate. And of course, you already know where to find us. Find us on Instagram at Ramblemania Show and at Banter Club Podcast. Find us on Twitter at Ramblemania, Facebook.com/Ramblemania Show. Also find our group there, Ramblemania Show's Banter Club, will be any other wrestlers, podcasters, and everybody we associate with. Post all our goings on and all that's going down. As far as audio goes, we're everywhere audio is found. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, TuneIn, Overcast, everywhere your podcasts are found. Search Ramblemania Show or Banter Club. As far as visuals, twitch.tv/Ramblemania Show. We are also on Spotify video. We are on YouTube. Search Ramblemania Show or Banter Club. When you get here, like the videos, click subscribe, click the bell so that when a new content drops, it goes straight to you. As far as me personally, find me on Instagram at TJ the Great One. That's TJ the GR, the number 8, the number 1. And follow me on Twitter at TJ the Great. That's TJ the GR, the number 8. It's as simple as that.
Oh, man. So I bid everyone a fair fight, a good night, and a too sweet with some mac and cheese.
You are ready. That is what's SmackDown.
Yeah.